And now we're live.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I was just in the back room already starting by saying welcome to our very first SPP Co-Chair volunteer event. We're really thrilled to have so many people here for the first one. We're doing one today, and we're going to be doing another one early in December. So definitely go check our website if you also want to join for the second one. My name is Melissa de Hockebrun. I am the director of SPP, the Global Team, and I'm here joined with my colleague Catherine Decker, who is also the deputy director and helps lead the organization and support all of you. We'll jump into what that means. But I just want to say, first of all, today or moving forward, please don't hesitate if you have questions or you want to share something with us to get in touch. We are here with and for you to support you. So if we could just go to the next slide, Catherine. The important notice. So this slide, we start all of our meetings sharing it with you. It can look like quite an administrative, boring, dry slide, but to us at SPP, this is a really important slide to all of our meetings because one of the core things that we do at SPP is we are building a safe space for you as individuals in procurement to come together and have conversations in a way that maybe you don't in other spaces. We want you to come to these spaces as colleagues, as individual practitioners, curious, able to share knowledge, your experience, your professional path. We want you to be able to ask other people in this community questions, to work together on co-creating solutions that don't exist yet. And all of that is possible because we do it within this really solid governance framework and this approach of collaboration that we are continuing to build and continuing to strengthen. So a couple notes for this. Please always come to SPP with a non-commercial, non-solicitous approach. We do accept a lot of collaboration and exchange. We do not want anybody coming here and selling to you. We don't want you coming here and selling. So it's really about exchanging knowledge and best practices with each other and working together to move forward on our shared mission. Also, if ever you notice something missing for you to be able to do this work, if ever you are saying, I'm not comfortable with something, raise that flag with us. We're building this together. We're going to say that a lot to you today. So please just let us know, and we're going to continue to make this a stronger space for you to be able to do the work that you need to do. No one's ever made a non-competition slide more exciting than we do. So there you go. So SPP, the Sustainable Procurement Pledge, it can be a mouthful. SPP is just fine as you get more involved for those who are new to us. And actually, I haven't done this yet. May I ask you, at the top of your screen, there is something that says react or raise. Can I get a quick show of hands of anybody who is absolutely new to SPP? You've never been here. This is your first introduction. Just the ones who've never heard of us. I see a few hands going up. Jose. I see Jose Hong. Okay, so I do see a few people. Good. Okay, so that helps me frame what I'm going to share. And 3 people there. Great. So at least half of you have never seen SPP. So I'm going to say to you and to those who have been with SPP for some time, this is not a scary pledge. We are not asking you to do anything more than read these 5 principles and see them as the values and principles that align us as a global community. We believe that we, each individuals, us, me, you, have a role to play, whether we are new in our career or really mature in our career, that there is a space and knowledge and ideas and thoughts for us to share. And we really want this to entice you to come in as an individual to be able to share that, and that you do hold a responsibility. So it starts with myself is about that. You really do hold a responsibility to do something with the profession that you have. We do believe in collaboration, in sharing and listening and doing it as a team. And we really believe that we want to leave the world just a little bit better than we found it, so that we can really try to improve the foresight that we have. We know a lot of our children are scared of what's to come. So we, together with the power of procurement, want to make sure that we leave things a bit better than we found them. Next slide, please. With that foundation, we have the bold goal mission that we, procurement, want to save the world by making sustainable procurement the default. It is a bold, bold claim. It is a big mission, but we truly believe that we can reach that. And, I want to say thank you to everybody who's here today, because the first step in that is stepping in and being curious in the role that you can play in that. No one can do this, such a big mission alone. So I really just want to thank you all for at least being curious in how we can join hands together. We don't have tons of time this morning, so I'm going to jump through a little bit. But if ever any of you want to talk more deeply about how we're doing this and the other areas, I'm happy to talk to you through this, probably for too many hours, then you would want to hear about it. Next slide, please. At a very high level, how we are tackling our big mission is the 4 gaps. We are looking at knowledge. So what knowledge do we need to be changing the profession and implementing sustainability? How do we actually get that knowledge and those tools put into action? So really, the practical, how do we get that into our systems, into our team, into our leadership? Who do we need by our sides to get this done? And how do we bring leadership along? Because we know that we need leadership by our sides if we're going to implement some of the changes that we are developing and dreaming of. Next slide, please. I'm going to not read what's on the slide, but I'm going to tell you what we are not. SPP is not here. SPP, the global team, SPP, the organization, is not here to do it for you. We are here to encourage you, to empower you, to equip you. We're here to connect you to each other. We're here to create spaces like this. We're here to identify who's doing it really well. We're here to help you along that journey and to hear from you what you need to be able to achieve this. So I just want to be clear that this is really a space where we all have to roll up our sleeves and get it done. If something doesn't already exist, it's because we need to co-create it together. If there's something more that we need to do, it's really for us to say, again, wave that flag often for us and let us know what's missing so that you can be doing this. So I just want to be clear about this space being a little bit different in that approach. And I want us all to understand, back to the 5 points of the pledge, it is about us leaning in, us creating the space where we can get it done together. I am also going to say, Catherine, myself, and the whole global team, we're not procurement. We don't come from the background of procurement. We are here to support and empower you. If you think back to the slide where I had our pictures, there was a little drawing from our meeting in Singapore. We are here as your sidekicks. We really believe that procurement is a superpower. You guys have the opportunity to change the world, and we're here in every way to help you along that journey. Next slide, please. So at very high level, we're bringing together 1 million procurement professionals. We're creating spaces for you, and it is for this simple calculation to be put into action. It is about scale times actions equals impact. So bringing people together, bringing tools together, bringing solutions together, putting them, this is the what into the how do we put that into action, and how do we create that change management in a profession that really controls so much of the annual global spend and the systems and the processes that we live in this little tiny world of ours. And then how do we drive that to have positive impact by embedding sustainability? So at a very high level, that is what we're doing with and for you. Next slide, please. This, if you take one thing away from this meeting, if you choose not to get more involved after we talk to you about our chapters and how to do this, if you take one thing away, I want you to take away that SPP, sorry about that, I'm still my first coffee, that procurement, as individuals, as a profession, you are superheroes. We really, really believe that this profession holds the power to change so much of the global systems to affect every single one of the 17 SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, to improve the lives of people, to really leave the world better than we found it. So if you walk away with one message, please know that you are incredible. And with that comes a lot of responsibility. Next slide, please. Okay, so now that you know a little bit who we are at a high level, let me do one thing, and I have to run through time. I'm seeing we want to leave a lot of time for you guys to talk to each other. But very practically, let me make sure that you have a few words under your belt as we go through the meeting so that the conversation is powerful. Ambassadors. Ambassadors are individuals who have said, yes, the pledge means something to me, and I want to be part of this community. That's it. You're joining this movement, and you want to be part of this. I'm going to highlight volunteers. Volunteers are people who are rolling up their sleeves and becoming part of this movement and actually getting stuff done with us. So it's more of a leadership role within our organization. It is less of a passive come in and do what we are asking you to do, but more of a finding opportunities to be part of this movement. The global team, that is Catherine, myself, Emily. We are a tiny team sitting in a few different cities, but we are here with you, and we really depend on volunteers. And not on this slide, actually, yes, it is. Advisors, we also depend on high-level advisors who we consider being part of the team as well. People helping us with tech, with legal services, with really core pieces of our work. So even from a global office perspective, we depend on volunteerism and support and leadership. I think here I'm going to pass it on to Catherine for time. And again, if there are any questions or you want to dig into anything later, we're always available.
Thank you, Melissa, and thank you for leading us through a quick pitch through SPP. So I will now dive a bit deeper into what are chapters, because our session today is really focusing on how can you get more engaged with our chapters, as well as to look a bit more deeply into what are the engagement opportunities. But really the main part should be for you to meet the chapter co-chairs and members of their team, to hear from them what are their chapters working on, who are the people behind it, what is their motivation, and also where are their needs, where are their support needs. So really bring you who are interested in a more active engagement with SPP and our co-chairs and existing chapters together to see where there is a win-win. So let me give you a quick introduction. And here are already the chapters who are with us today. I also saw Nisa from our Singapore chapter coming in. So Nisa, please feel welcome to join the conversation and share your motivation and your work in Singapore too. But let me quickly frame for you what are SPP chapters. So SPP chapters are really at the heart of our community. As Melissa said, SPP is a community for procurement professionals who wants to advance sustainable procurement practices in their organizations. So if we are with the focus on individuals, chapters are really bringing those individuals together into smaller communities. These are spaces where you can go deeper into sustainable procurement in your country, in your region, in your industry, or also on specific topics. And this is how SPP chapters are structured along these lines. We have currently 17 chapters who have been behind almost 50 webinars alone in the last year. So a massive drive of knowledge sharing, bringing communities together, bringing peers together, and also beyond that to drive the agenda of our World Sustainable Procurement Day, to activate SPP tools like the guide, to represent SPP on global stages. So there's a lot these chapters are driving, driven by the needs and interests of their community. And more you can obviously hear later from our co-chairs. Chapters are evolving constantly because they are driven by the community needs. So if there are gaps, we need a chapter on circularity, we need a chapter on agriculture. The community brings those interests to us, and we will see and find, interested people like you to lead those chapters. So there is some governance behind it. It's very light touch, very lean. We want to keep it lean to really give you and empower you to shape the communities based on their needs. So what are the engagement opportunities? As you can see here on the slide, there are multiple engagement opportunities where you can really get active, where you can shape and lead community action. But today we really want to focus on the chapter-related engagement opportunities, which are the roles of the co-chairs as well as building a team behind the co-chairs that are supporting the implementation of the chapter strategy, their activities, community engagement, communication, etc. So, and with this also come multiple or different, let's say, role descriptions or skills and knowledge needs. But what all drives them is an initiative to really be all hands on deck, to be motivated, committed, to drive something with and for the community. So what are co-chairs? Co-chairs, and each chapter has two co-chairs, are really the leadership behind the chapters. They are procurement professionals in line with our value of being a community for procurement by procurement. And these co-chairs are appointed by us, the global team. Co-chairs bring with them a network and a strong interest and also expertise on sustainable procurement in their topic, industry, or country, depending on which chapters they are leading. They are leading the chapter strategy, as I already said, as well as the planning, the coordination of activities, and in general, the community activities and engagement. The chapter core teams is something that developed based on the needs of co-chairs, because as the activities of our chapters become more elaborate, co-chairs cannot handle it alone anymore, but really rely on active supporters from their community. And this is where the idea of chapter core teams came together to really build a little team behind that, build hands on deck behind the co-chairs to really implement and make chapters even stronger than before. So also those members of the core team, these are proactive community members who are invited by the co-chairs to join the chapter. Their support, the implementation, so the planning, the coordination, the communication, the community engagement to really advance the chapter activities. And here in particular, there are multiple roles, skills, and expertise needed, really based on the needs of the chapters and what they want to implement. Very quickly, because I really would like to hand over soon to our co-chairs to take over, how can you get engaged if you're interested? So the first step to really get engaged is to become part of this community. So sign the pledge, join us as a community, become a member, an ambassador in our community. Then many of you did it already. There is an application form on our website that many of you already filled out. This really allows us to get more information about you, your motivation, your skills, your expertise that you're bringing to really find the right match for you, also based on your interest in the chapters. And it is really a lean process of appointment of co-chair as well as core team members. If you're interested in this, I can also provide more information later. But all this engagement is also based on a formal agreement, which is actually empowering us as the organization to empower chapters with insights from data that we are collecting, etc. So it is, as I said, it's very lean, it's very low maintenance in terms of governance to really make it flexible and empowering for you. Before I hand over, let me also maybe say a few words on who are we looking for? And I think this came already through in the presentation so far. So we are really relying on proactive community members who wants to lead, who wants to shake things up, who wants to move things forward and not wait for others to do it, who wants to volunteer time, their expertise and skills to really advance the goals of the chapter, of this great community. So really looking for people who believe in the power of procurement, who believe in the power of a community, who have a all hands on deck mentality, who wants to be creative, who wants to really tap into the resources of the community and really believe creative solutions can come out of this. So this is very high level on who we're looking for. So the next question then always is, what do you get out of it in volunteering your time, your expertise, your skills? And you hear later about the motivation from our co-chairs and core team members, but what we heard is that obviously with this active leadership position in our community, you would get access to now over 20,000 procurement professional community. So it's a great networking opportunity. You can build this. A lot of our volunteers and people closer engaged really use it for their career development, to get more advanced on sustainable procurement topics, to make the network, to connect to interesting other peers, but also with ecosystem partners, which is a strong drive. You get the opportunity also to represent SPP on stages, to build your profile. And yeah, as I said, build it really as your either a personal or really a career development opportunity. And also a strong, obviously, intrinsic driver of giving back to the community you are also benefiting from. And we as a global team, we empower you. We support you as volunteers, but also as chapters with connecting the dots to other stakeholders within the community, to provide an infrastructure of communication and collaboration, support communication, etc. So it's really about us as a team who are, as Melissa said, not procurement, to empower you procurement professionals to drive this community forward. I will stop here and would like to hand over to our co-chairs and their core team members who are with us today to give us a bit more information about the chapter, their motivation on being part of this community and taking on this driving and leadership role within the community, and also to hear a bit more already about their needs in their chapters and what plans they're having. So I think I go one back. Or actually, I stop sharing the slides so that you can see each other much better. And maybe, just from the alphabetical order of the chapter names, maybe let's start with the DACH chapter. Thomas.
Sure, thanks, Catherine. I hope everybody can hear me well.
Yes.
All right, so I'm Thomas. I'm based in Berlin. I've spent most of my career in procurement, leading large procurement teams in international companies. And at the moment in the DACH chapter, we're doing two things. We're organizing events digitally where you will hear professionals talk about subjects that really matter to you. We try to choose the topics based on what you are currently working on as our community. And what we need at the moment is a new co-chair. So I'm still on board, but Juliana, who was the second co-chair, has decided to step down recently. So I'm looking for a very strong co-chair to accompany us on this journey. And we have a few volunteers already, but it's always nice to hear if others want to help us as well. Is that enough of an intro, Catherine?
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Thomas. We will have, after the introduction of the chapters, a little Q&A. So if people have more questions, and also later we have breakout rooms where people can actually go even deeper into their questions with you. Thank you, Thomas. Then let me hand over to our human rights chapter, to the co-chair, Victoria.
Hi, thank you, Catherine. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Victoria Volbeek. I am a former Chief Procurement Officer, have been kicking around procurement for about 28 years, have implemented quite a lot of sustainability programs, so speak out of experience, but out of extreme passion on the subject. So I've ticked the motivation bit that Catherine asked for. Now, what we do and why, in the human rights chapter, so we've been going nearly 2 years, and as opposed to the country chapters where the topics are very, very diverse, because sustainability is, we really hone down on human rights. And so why we do that is we want to desensitize the topic for procurement and move it really from taboo to can do. Because as a former Chief Procurement Officer myself, I know that this is a topic that procurement is confused about in terms of the role, the responsibility, the accountability that they play in that area. A lot of people want to talk about it, but don't find safe spaces to do it. So how are we bringing the change about? My co-chair, who can't be here today, she's actually a not procurement, but a big procurement fan. She's the executive director of a couple of NGOs, Aims Progress and Inherently Human. She's been also 20 plus years in the human rights space, advising companies on how to implement human rights pragmatically into their supply chain. So she's a big fan of what procurement can do, and we devise specific procurement conversations and topics. So what do? We bring NGOs, procurement experts together. Like Thomas said, we do actually, because we're a global chapter, not a country or regional chapter, we do everything, well, mostly everything. We do webinar-based, but we do collaborate with country chapters. And for example, last year we had an in-person closed event in the UK at the KPMG offices, where actually KPMG procurement were talking about their human rights journey. So what we find is a lot of our webinars are not recorded. And so that people can ask the more pertinent questions and exchange their thoughts. But we do write a lot of articles and insights to bring people on. We are now building a toolkit for procurement professionals that addresses their specific needs through the procurement lifecycle. So like, okay, human rights is something we want to talk about, we want to do, but how do we do it? So we're working on something very, very pragmatic that at every part of the procurement toolkit journey, we can apply, and that is not overwhelming. We have a LinkedIn group that we'd love you guys to join. And so we also partner with a lot of organizations. So we're a knowledge partner for the Innovation Forum, a company that hosts closed room sustainability and procurement discussions, specifically on ethical sourcing and human rights. We partner with the Supply Chain Sustainability School, Unseen. We're hoping to partner with the Chartered Institute of Purchasing and Supply, and also with other chapters that often come to us and say, if they don't have their own resources to talk about human rights, they come to us and we then give them ideas, upskill them, doing a lot in the background. So who are we looking for? We're looking for procurement professionals at any stage of their knowledge on human rights who want to participate in the journey to demystify the topic and also want to test ride some of the tools. And we'd love to have anybody from any location. We are based in the UK, myself and Louise, but of course, and we had some very interesting people who wanted to join us in Australia. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to host that as a core chapter, but we can try and make it work. Anyway, anybody in the world who is procurement and very interested in human rights is welcome in our chapter.
Thank you very much, Victoria. Okay, then let's move over to our Scope 3 chapter. Claudia, I think you are connected, right? Yes.
I am connected. Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I mean, what this human rights chapter does is impressive, guys.
Isn't it?
Wow. I almost feel like, okay, so now what am I going to say about what we're doing? I think they are very, very advanced and very well connected and very well organized. So I can talk about Scope 3 chapter. I've been in the Scope 3 chapter for quite some time, actually from the start. I've been a co-chair from the start, and I've had, I think, 3 or 4 different co-chairs in the meantime. I don't hope it's about me. I think it's just, we've just been a bit unlucky about people moving around, moving countries, changing jobs. And I guess that's what happens, right? Because we are all volunteers. I think that is the reality with what we are dealing with. We organize events. We have a lot of discussion sessions, and people come and go. But always people who are there, they are always interested in the topic. So I'm originally from the Netherlands. I just saw someone asking about a chapter in Amsterdam. I'm not based in the Netherlands, I'm based in Switzerland. I've always been in procurement with Shell, so I've been a long time in Shell procurement. And then in 2019, I actually started working in sustainability related roles. And the Scope 3 chapter is really where those two worlds come together. You have the sustainability world, the carbon emissions, the calculation, the dealing with suppliers, and at the same time also the procurement world. So I think it's a very nice chapter where these two topics are married, in progress. So yeah, what we've been organizing primarily is webinar sessions where we invite people that are actually in the middle of implementation of Scope 3 related programs. And I mean, you would not be surprised that most of the discussions is actually about supplier engagement. How do you do it? Why would you do it? How do you incentivize people? And I think what I really like about these events as part of the SPP, and in my case, in my chapter, is that it is really like you really see the for procurement, by procurement. So people who come in the session come to learn, and people who are speaking in the sessions come to basically give their insights. There's no, it's not a commercial, provider, I'm going to sell you my services kind of discussion. It's I'm in the middle of this, and these are the challenges that I had to deal with, and this is how we dealt with them. And this goes from, this is how I had to convince my management because they were not on board, to, and then we worked together with this team, but they are on a different page. So how do we do that? How do we overcome that challenge? So I think those discussions are very interesting and very, like you learn a lot from it. So at the beginning of this year, we had, I was actually still working with Eric, who then got another job. Then I was working with Matt, who then moved countries to New Zealand. And I understand this is a very difficult region to work with because it's a completely different time zone. And then he actually moved on also to start a new chapter. So he started an AI related chapter. And I think that's also, I think Katrien said in the beginning, like, the sessions are also built by the community, right? So there's a need for something related to AI. So that chapter got started and Matt got involved. And then I was working with Luciana, who then moved countries as well and got into a very busy period at work. So she said, sorry, I can't really help anymore. And that's the reality. So what I'm looking for is another co-chair. And also I'm looking for a couple of people that, would like to engage as part of a core team where we have discussions around what's next, how do we do it, how are we organizing it, and help us organize discussions and sessions. We had 3 goals for 2025. And I mean, we have a plan that we can probably just put 2026 on the first line because we can just take it forward. So one of the things we wanted to do is really find a way to equip our members with knowledge. And I think what we have learned about the Scope 3 chapter and the Scope 3 people in general is that there's many different maturity levels. So how do you provide sessions that are interesting for people that are just starting and are just starting to measure their Scope 3 footprint, as well as people who are completely in it and are already engaging their suppliers and are like 4 kilometers ahead. So how do you make sure that you make it interesting for both of those audiences? And that's the discussion that we've had regularly. Also, we have a very large LinkedIn group in the SPP network, but we're not really active there, which is a pity. So I think it's a very nice network group that we could use better, but we don't really know how. So we're also looking for someone who can help us with that. And then one thing that we were thinking of is to start thinking in tracks. So would it make sense to start thinking in a retail track and organize a couple of sessions around retail related Scope 3, or do something around logistics, so that people who have a specific interest in those sessions are offered opportunities to learn and advance their knowledge in a certain topic, and you can actually build on different sessions. That's another thing that we were talking about. And then, so that's from a sector perspective. And then from a topic perspective, the focus is for us on supplier collaboration, obviously. LCA and PCF, and circular economy.
So a lot of opportunity, Claudia. It sounds like there's a lot happening there. Yeah. I'm just going to cut off for
not necessarily yet in the execution of it. So we are looking for people. Yeah.
Great. Sorry to cut you off. We just realized that we all have so much to say and time is running, and I want to make sure that we have time to pop you into breakout rooms. Just a quick, as you see, some chapters are really looking for thinkers and leaders. Others are also looking for people to help implement. So we can talk about that in the breakout rooms afterwards. Catherine,
thank you very much, Claudia.
Thank you, Claudia.
And let's hand over to our supplier diversity chapter, who came with almost all men and women on deck. Timo, the co-chair, is here with us, and I know you brought also a few members of your core team. So handing over to you and the team.
That's wonderful. Hey, thanks, Catherine. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to go really quickly. So, just welcome from the Supplier Diversity Chapter. I'm Timo Worrell. I'm co-chair. I've got a really great, small and mighty team have joined here today from our SD chapter. I can see Fanny there. I can see Nisa. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else I can see. I can't see anybody else, but we've got a
Andrea.
very great... Andrea as well. Hi, Andrea.
Yes.
I can't see your face. So, probably say anybody who's interested in supplier diversity and inclusion, social value delivery through procurement. We have a huge opportunity through supplier diversity to make our communities better and stronger through supporting job creation and economic inclusion for people in our communities who are marginalised. This area has been somewhat under attack over the last year or so. I think we're all extremely still passionate about this space and ensuring this space continues to grow. So if you're interested, we're always looking for opportunities. We've got a team of 7 at the moment, spread across the UK, Switzerland, US, France, Singapore. But I think we're always looking for more support, specific skill sets, people with great procurement insights that we can share and just help continue to grow this movement. So please come and join us in our breakout room if you're interested. But I'll stop there because I know we're short on time.
Can I just pop in and say how amazing all the co-chairs and the core team are? We have really incredible people working within the SPP space. I was just listening to all of you speak and your expertise. And, I really want to highlight that this is for everybody, people who have been in procurement for a long time, who have that amazing expertise. And it's a space for people who are just starting, and it's a unique opportunity for you to work together. So I just want to say thank you to all the co-chairs and the core team already. All right, I got it.
Wonderful.
I got excited by this.
Absolutely. So thank you very much to the co-chairs for setting us off. It would be wonderful to hear your questions. You heard a lot from our side about SPP, how to engage, about the chapters, the chapter needs for support. We would really love to hear now your questions before we then actually split up in little breakout rooms where you can have one-on-one conversations with the co-chairs and the teams. So it would be wonderful if you have questions. That's your space now to ask. Feel welcome to either raise your hand. There's a little icon on the top of your screen, or just open your microphone and ask your question.
I see Lucia. You have, sorry, let me just read that. It popped up so quickly. Do you have a similar group for marketers within SPP? No, Lucia, but that has been brought up a couple times. There is a group that is called Marketing for Procurement, I believe, who reached out once, or Marketers of the World who reached out once, who wanted to work with procurement. So there is definitely interest in that, but it does not exist. Opportunity. Any other questions? Great. Yeah, could we ask Sricha to ask her question?
Hi, Catherine. If you remember, I asked about my chapter in the LinkedIn. I'll quickly give my story. See, I'm a procurement professional working for one of the MNCs, and I'm very new to this procurement world. Like, it's been 3 years, but I was into procurement plus analytics. So much of my support is into analytics, and I cannot say I have strong background from procurement, but I do have. Then I was kind of inclined towards the sustainability activities, which my company took. One of the coaches told about the scope 3, right? Then I got that, that got my attention because we used to work on different projects like carbon emission, carbon footprinting, capturing the scores in our major projects. So that's how I was kind of started my sustainability journey. I'm still learning. I'm nowhere from procurement world, but after listening to all the coaches, and I'm now my doubt is where do I belong exactly? Because I can, like my volunteering contribution can be towards knowledge sharing and also networking, engaging the people who are very interested with sustainability and all. But how where I belong exactly is, I have a doubt. Someone can guide me because my chapter is not here today in this session. I'm from India. So maybe anyone can guide me, or because I was interested with scope 3 and how human rights chapter gave the introduction that really caught my interest. So everything is so welcoming, but I just want to figure out how can I help people, and it's kind of a win-win. How can this help me and how can I help you, like that? Thank you. That's how I can put it. Yeah.
I would suggest for today, if you choose one of the chapters and go in, and that may be of interest, and go and learn from that chapter, and then starting to get involved, participating in some of the meetings from the chapters, and starting to see the type of topics that are being worked on there would be a good start. We can also always have a side conversation if there's anything specific that we want to talk about. But I would say, and this is for everybody, just start getting involved. It doesn't need to be perfect at the beginning. You don't need to jump in 100%. Some people, as was discussed by Claudia, have moments in their career where they have more time or less time, and that is absolutely fine. To come in and come out as makes sense with your journey and your time. So my number one recommendation is just start, even if it's small, and get to know the community. You know, having Catherine and I guide you is one thing. Having some of the practitioners who are your colleagues around the world work with you, I think, is another. So the LinkedIn groups are incredible. Engaging on those, we can introduce you to any of the specific co-chairs, or the events are a really good place to start getting active. I hope that helps a little bit.
Yeah.
I see Arif has his hands up.
Yeah, hi. Just a question regarding the level of engagement, whether being a co-chair or a member. If you can give just a brief between the two, so that when we are approaching the co-chairs, we have a knowledge of what level of engagement or what's expected from us.
Catherine, you want to take that, or should I jump in there?
Feel welcome. I can add.
So co-chairs has a higher level of engagement and requirement. We meet with our co-chairs, our wonderful co-chairs, once a month for a monthly meeting. That is partially for us to do updates and for co-chairs to speak to each other and engage with each other. After that, developing the annual strategy, or what you're going to do with that space, will really determine how active that chapter is. It is a lot of work. I think you've heard that from some of the other co-chairs. It is a commitment. You are working with some of the team. You are working with each other. You're using the space, which is where it has to make sense for what you want to be driving as well. So the level for the co-chairs is quite a bit higher. The level for the core team really depends on the role that you're going to take within that. Some of the chapters, and that's where going into each of the chapters, I think, and having those conversations there makes sense. Some of the co-chairs need help doing a monthly LinkedIn post, and that would be it. Some of them need help running events. Some of them need a little bit more hands-on, depending what you are building together. So every chapter is really unique depending on the need of that community within that space. So for that, I'm going to say it depends. And then for the co-chairs, I will say we do ask for a 1-2 year commitment to bring that together. Some co-chairs stay quite beyond 2 years. We've had some co-chairs be here since the beginning, but also we love to see movement within the volunteerism of this space because it brings new energy and new perspectives. So I think Tomas was mentioning that he's looking for a new co-chair, but he's staying on for a little bit longer with the with what he's been building. So I hope that gives a bit of a context.
Super. I think Omar.
And then you
is
have so
next.
much fun that you want to talk to us every day. So we do lots together. Timo's laughing at that. Do I see more questions?
Yes, Omar has his hand up.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Hello.
Good morning, Omar.
Good morning from my end. I'm happy to hear those who speak about SPP and the information surrounding the volunteerism. I am from the Gambia, West Africa.
Very nice.
So I want to declare about the African chapter because I work in the public sector of my country as a procurement officer, and I'll be interested in being involved in stakeholder engagement because I believe that's the starting point for most of the developing countries, especially my own country. When stakeholders have the information, the knowledge, then things can move on smoothly. So how is the African chapter working, and how can I get involved in terms of stakeholder engagement from my country and across Africa? Thank you.
So I'm going to be very direct with this. The Africa chapter needs a little bit of energy and support and different perspectives. So that is one of the chapters where we would love to see more happening. It's one of the chapters. We had a South Africa chapter some time ago, and the co-chairs actually one of them moved away from South Africa. So we opened an Africa regional chapter as a test. I think having a conversation, whether having a regional chapter there or also the openness for some more country chapters would be of interest in Africa is something to discuss. So I'm very happy to hear your energy and your excitement to have that conversation. It is one of the regions where we would love more people and more activity. I think there's a lot of insights, knowledge, and conversation that we can be having that we're not having at the moment.
And let me add to that. So the co-chair of the Africa chapter, Michael, he will actually join the next session that we're doing next week. And they actually came up with an interesting concept that we are piloting, where obviously covering a region like Africa, actually a continent of Africa, is quite a challenge on sustainable procurement. So the idea is here now to set up and work with contacts in different countries. So Michael himself is based in Kenya. We have now a contact in Ghana, actually public procurement focused. So also here it could be a really good connection. So Omar, it would be great either if you can join next week, the session on the 4th December, to directly speak to Michael, or I'm very happy to connect you directly with Michael to have conversation on how he can support the activities and this new kind of concept of having ambassadors, leading ambassadors in different countries with our Africa chapter. So a really, really good point.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Jose, I see your question.
Yes, thank you so much. I thank you so much, everyone, for this talk. It's been really, really amazing. Based on what I've been hearing, it's actually possible for us to get involved in multiple initiatives, multiple chapters within SPP. My question is just how common is it for people to basically be volunteering their time to different chapters? Because I see myself wanting to get involved in multiple.
I love it. I love the energy. We do have people who, so Yes, and so we do have people who support or get active in multiple conversations or multiple chapters, multiple things across SPP. And we're just talking about chapters today. So there are lots of other things that happen within SPP. And there are some that get involved in different spaces at different times. Jose. So I think it's a matter of how much time you have, where you want to be contributing. What is important is to remember that the co-chairs are going to depend, and we are going to depend on, the support that you are offering. So just the only caveat to that is let's make sure that we're not overstretching you and that you're able to give quality and support where it is. If you have the capacity to be involved with multiple spaces, that's absolutely wonderful. There's a lot of cross-pollination also that happens between the chapters. So we'll see human rights and public procurement have events, or we'll see, India and the US have a conversation. So I think it's also opportunities like that to be connecting some of the work that's happening. But yes, some people get involved across SPP.
Amazing. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you very much. Okay, I see we are almost at 9:30 our time in Berlin here, and we really would like to give you the opportunity to speak directly to the co-chairs. We have set up for that separate breakout rooms, and I just posted the links in the chat. So if you want to speak to the co-chair and the team, in the case of supplier diversity, directly, please pick one of those. The co-chairs will swap over to those breakout rooms now, which will mean you have to get out of this session. However, if you're interested in learning more about our emerging technology chapter, because we have the co-chair Matt Langley in here, please stay in this session. Here you have the opportunity to speak to Matt directly about the chapter. For all the others, I would like to thank you so much for your interest. Dear co-chairs, thank you for joining us this morning.
Can I say one thing, Catherine?
Yes.
The time, we will not close those breakout rooms.
Exactly.
So we take the time you need for that. If anybody is finding themselves in a room where there aren't as many people, just ping us and we can also see what's needed. So that we can see if you need any support there. We'll stay online.
Super. So yes, I wish you really good conversations. And in any case, please reach out to us for any further connecting the dots, any questions, etc. So thank you very much for today.